r/AskReddit. NSFW, what's the worst thing you have witnessed on a bachelor/bachelorette party? This isn't going to be anywhere near as horrific as what I'm sure most people will have to say here. But my friend invited an absolute scumbag to her hen party about 7 years ago. Her reputation was that she was trash. But she showed up like a different person and was actually very nice the whole night. She was on her best behavior, buying rounds of drinks, showing a genuine interest in conversations. The whole works. She even offered to look after the coats and bags while we got up to dance. Halfway through the first song we all turned around to find her rifling through everyone's belongings. She locked eyes with us while she had one hand full of banknotes and the other full of someone's cigarettes. She wasn't at the wedding. Wow. I know. Right? You need to take the coats and run. Far more efficient. Amateurs. Whole party got drunk. Best man admitted to having slept with the bride. Massive bar fight followed. Groom lost one of his front teeth. The wedding still happened, but he kept his mouth shut in all the pictures. Best man was nowhere to be seen, and the title was given to the groom's other brother. Edited because people seem to have an issue with the word ensued. Slept with the bride as in cheated, or before they got serious, because the latter is the only reason why I can see you continuing the wedding. They are brothers, so he would have known if he was with her before him. One of the guys had a what happens in Vegas idea about the whole thing and kept trying to get the groom laid. He wandered off to find a hooker. The problem is we weren't even remotely close to Vegas or a hooker for miles. So it was just an ordinary casino night, but with one guy off in the background walking up to random women he assumed would sell their bodies for money. Do people really do that? Go out and get laid as a pre-celebration for their wedding? The first conversation I ever had on Reddit was with a woman who slept with a male stripper on her bachelorette party. She got pregnant shortly thereafter, and about 8 months later wasn't sure if her child would be her husband's or her stripper's, and wanted advice. Bonus, she denied that what she did was cheating, as they weren't officially married quite yet. The best man got pissed drunk at breakfast and ate an entire banana without peeling it. And I've questioned if there is a god ever since. This is the worst one. I would argue the best one. Friend of mine was getting married. On his stag/bachelor party in Newcastle he pulled some girl. Like I've been on a lot of stag dos, but this was the first time the groom has ever cheated. Anyway, he goes home with this girl, then next day we fly back to London. His wife-to-be picks him up from the airport. 20 minutes into the car journey home she asks him why he is so quiet. For some unknown reason he then decides to tell her everything. Wedding gets called off. He then moves up to Newcastle to be with his new woman. It lasts 2 months. He then comes back to London with his tail between his legs. Gets back with his ex-bride-to-be. They eventually got married about a year later. No one has really seen him, since his wife now doesn't let him out of her sight. A good times. Edit. Wow. Didn't expect so many replies. Agree with a lot of what's being said. Like I said earlier, it's the first time I've ever witnessed a groom be unfaithful on a stag. Like I've seen a lot of blokes have strippers all over them etc, but that's kind of expected, and half the time you can see how awkward they all feel. As far as broken trust and conscious etc go, agree with broken trust. He ducked up for sure, and to be fair he deserves everything she gave him. Conscious. Tough one really. Personally I think he should have kept his mouth shut and made it up to her by being a good husband when they got married and not doing it again. Last thing I need to add that I didn't. He and her had kids at the time of the stag. 3 of them. That's kind of why I thought he should have kept his mouth shut. For them and the good of the family. I'm not condoning it at all. I do wanna say I think this was kind of out of character for him as well. Maybe that added to things. Hey ho. Last but not least, the best thing for all concerned would have been for him not to be such a ducking idiot and keep it in his pants in the first place. Absolute ducking bell end the fella. His wife now doesn't let him out of her sight. Broken trust is one of the worst things to happen to a relationship. No matter how much you love each other, no matter how good you two are together otherwise, trust is something that can never be fully repaired. I'm confused as to why she'd be so stupid to take him back. That it will stay in the back of your mind forever. Why would you want to live like that? We were a bunch of nerds in the 90s. Set up a giant LAN party for our buddy getting married. Someone hired a stripper. She gave us a shopping list of things to get, including a banana. Someone brought a plantain instead. Stripper arrives and is older than all of us. We tried to convince her to play doing. She would not. Half the party just played video games, while the other half awkwardly tried to interact with the stripper. She was not impressed with the plantain. After about 20 minutes she said she would do something really special for the groom if she could leave early. We agreed. She put him in a mask with a dildo for a nose and ducked herself with it. Super awkward. Edit. I think a lot of you are under the impression that we were somehow mean to this stripper. We just asked her to play doing. She said no thanks. Then put on her show. When we gave her the plantain she just said that is not a banana and put it aside. She gave zero ducks about the guys that just wanted to play computer games. She was tipped well and we were very nice to her. No strippers were harmed in the making of this comment. Tough crowd. Sounds like she tried to. It was a combo bachelor and bachelorette party, and one attendee got really drunk and wanted to leave. The hosts had collected everyone's keys to prevent drunk driving and refused to return his keys he'd willingly given up earlier. He goes outside and shortly returns with a tire iron and just starts wailing on guests at the party, including bridesmaids and groomsmen. One of the other attendees grabs a big 6-cell mag light and clocks the aggressor over the head with it, killing him. No charges got filed because it was deemed justified, and the wedding went on as planned a few days later. I felt bad for the bride and groom because no amount of makeup was going to hide the bruises and missing teeth in the wedding photos. What the duck? I second that emotion. We went paintballing in the afternoon, and at one point the groom was laying down sniping when a kid snuck up behind him and just unloaded on the groom's ass. Which would be hilarious, but the paintball found its way to groom's ballsack. It swelled up like an orange and he wasn't able to go to the strip club that night, nor consummate the wedding the following day. 16 years later, and his wife's still pretty pissed about it, even though the rest of us think it's pretty hilarious in hindsight. Edit well. This blew up like nutshot. Edited words and removed unnecessary TLDR due to popular request. Also, some peeps are mad that I said it was hilarious. Just the idea of my dude sniping and then getting shot in the ears is just funny. Getting shot repeatedly is terrible. And no, the kid didn't get his ass kicked. There were too many random kids, and we had no idea who did it. We shot at him, but he was too fast. We were too old. Cest larvae. Paintballed for a bachelor's party of a friend. 2. After the match, we lined up, made him speak his last words and just executed him. He was some very good sport, considering that he had these big red circles all over his body. But since no nightclubs were involved, the following evening we just got it faced at the hotel bar. Then ate a pizza and went to a huge foam party in a big swimming pool. One guy lost his flip-flops. Another one slipped and cut his eyebrow. Another one got his cell phone stolen. 3 of us lost the coach to go back to the hotel, so we had to wait for the first one at 6 AM. It was a Monday, we all took a day off. So it was the commuter's bus. People all dressed up to go to work. And these 3 morons, wearing a swimsuit and a t-shirt, walking on their same bus, still completely at-faced because we found a kiosk that was selling booze 24/7, ran by Amir, a very nice Bengali guy, one with half of his face covered in blood, getting on their same bus. Good times. Yo. I take it, you spent so long drinking at this 24/7 kiosk that you learned Amir's life story. Had a friend hit $250k on a $5 slot machine at a Shreveport casino on his bachelor party 2 weeks before the ceremony. With his newfound wealth, he decided to ask his fiancée to sign a prenup. She refused. She had referred to it as our money from the first moment she heard the good news. And so, he walked away. Everyone hated him for it. He was practically excommunicated from all our social circles. 10 years later, and she's filed bankruptcy twice. In hindsight, he made the right decision. Wow, this one is about a smart decision, not a bad one. My fiance and I barely own it, but we are still signing a prenup anyway. If it goes bad, we leave with all the things we came in with. That is just how it goes. The strippers started fight each other and pulled out a gun lol. We had to kick them out and expedite our party bus plans. Where the hell was she keeping a gun? He asked, not wanting to know the answer. Prison pocket. My buddy's bachelor party was set to be pretty tame. No strip clubs or casinos or anything like that. He just wanted to get these massive burgers from the local burger joint walking distance from his condo and play Mario Kart 64. So after we had all stuffed our faces from these ridiculous Mondo burgers, we sat down, divvied up the teams, and each person would drain 1 beer per lap. Then exchange controllers. Every single person ended up puking immediately. Once the toilet, sink, and kitchen sink were full, people were throwing up all over the place, running around looking for the least damaging spot to spew. It was obscene. I've been playing Mario Kart wrong all these years. Not a bachelor party or anything, but we played what has been referred to above as Mario Kart 64 frequently when I was in college. It's a lot of fun if you have enough people to play. Have strippers come over. They are not strippers but escorts. Married dude's escort as the other girl is getting slapped by ping pong paddles in the ears upstairs in a good fight. Next day I have to sit in car and drive home with guilt-stricken married guy. And that's why you never sleep with escorts at your bachelor party. Yeah. Everybody knows not to do that, dumb it. You just work your way through all of your groomsmen. CHOOCHU. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.